what flatters your mind is this attitude of being professional and saying like that. There is a problem, there is why, where, how, and then there is a solution. And then we should feel relieved, right? We feel a relief at the level of mind. And you know what? I spent years listening, reading, thinking that this knowledge would save me. That I no longer need to feel that depression, trauma, or any kind of pain. That it would just dissolve. Because I already know the mechanism. It was like that. No, it wasn't like that at all. Because this attitude doesn't save you. It puts your mind at ease. And maybe the obsessive questions, is there something wrong with me? Then maybe you don't ask that anymore. But what stays beneath? These are suppressed feelings that you cannot get rid of it. Everyone wants to be accepted. Everyone wants to have that feeling, simply that people see you, value you, or at least that they leave you alone and they don't mock you, or they don't take away your right to exist, to have your own voice, experience. That's why it was easier for me to show you myself as this professional with degree, although the real degree, diploma, is my life. From experiences, from those wounds, traumas, from that pain, from depression, which actually was the biggest motivation, and that I found answers. And I was searching for answers everywhere where people could talk about these topics that would really oppress me. So it was easier for me to show myself to you as this professional and to speak as others do. And I see how it is. Mr. or Mrs. with the title, showing up in the video, podcast or book, talking about a particular issue, describing the story of it, approaches as well, adding various names, experts in the field, who defines, names, and also gives solutions. Yes, that's true. I would even say it's sexy, because it's such an excellence in it, and it flatters our mind. Saying there is a problem, that's why, and then bringing solution, and we feel relieved. Do we? Maybe, but just a relief at the level of the mind. And you know what? I spent years listening, reading, thinking that this knowledge would save me, that I no longer need to feel depression, trauma, or any kind of pain, because it would just dissolve. Because I already know. I know the mechanism. But it wasn't like that at all, because this attitude doesn't save you. It just puts your mind at ease. And maybe the obsessive questions, is there something wrong with me? then maybe you don't ask that anymore. But what stays beneath, these are suppressed feelings that you cannot get rid of it. They are so suppressed, as if they were in such a box, and you just give the dirt on it, cover it, and deny it. Well, such a phase or approach, I had that one. It's called obsessive knowledge, to calm your mind, saying, I know what's wrong with me, but you are still in this pain, without realizing. So listen, I gave up this attitude of being professional, and even I decided to have therapies. But what was missing, it was candid sharing of their experience, embracing, touching something, because descriptions of patients in the book, statistics, definitions, it's just raw information. Because this approach confirms, aha, I am one of them. I have this mental issue, that disorder. What I was missing, it was human, personal touch. Admitting openly by those experts or speakers, people around, saying I have been through it, I feel you, I remember how that pain felt like in my body, life. That would have really made these things easier. Because someone says that even though I'm this or that, I've been through it, or I'm in it, I'm not ashamed of it, I speak up. And this activates compassion and empathy, this wound of your inner child. And these years of emotional baggage and memories, being so traumatized, this is hidden under the mask of professional, being professional in a field. And only knowledge, titles, diplomas, methods give you right to be this expert, showing just this part of you and saying, hey, do you have this problem? Let's fix it. I will give you a recipe, read-me, some tips, advice, or practices. I thought to myself, I must cope with it on my own, and I got used to fixing myself. I'm speaking to you, who could see then, in childhood, that if you hadn't helped yourself, if you hadn't handled not only yourself, but also a parent who couldn't cope with their emotions, or a toxic, abusive family in general, what would happen? Then you would just feel that no one would have helped you, would be with you. No one would have even noticed that you were suffering or that you needed help. That's why I dedicate this video to those who are like me, who went through the same. In order to survive, we have put the mask of being professional. Handle yourself person. One part of ourselves thinks that it's getting crazy. No one will believe me when I speak what I truly feel, what I'm experiencing, how I'm lost, how I am stuck in mind. because a scientific knowledge, diagnosis, sentences said by this someone, this expert that we believe would give us answers, confirmation that nothing is wrong with us, that it's not our fault, that it would save us. But no, we still stay alone with it. The expert will not soothe you, will not embrace this part in you that is screaming, trembling, crying. We are left alone to relieve what hasn't been felt, touched, released emotionally, knowing what you suffer from. Putting labels on this will never heal you. It only calms one part of us, the rational one. And this child continues to suffer in you. And the sensitive part, the part that feels, continues to feel. It hasn't changed anything. Call me, define me how you want, but I will keep up feeling what I feel. I'm showing you myself from the most personal, authentic perspective. Maybe a bit chaotic, emotional, but for sure in peace with myself. Accepting, embracing all parts of me, inviting to meet, to communicate, to speak up, to feel. I encourage you to try this way. Because I will no longer keep this absolute control, wearing the mask, the social role, the role in the family that I played. Because if I were like that, I would have presented myself to you as an amazing therapist, an expert from psychology to mentoring. Then I would only speak to the part of you that is associated with mind, with this mask. But what I truly want is to speak to this part in you that is suppressed, covered in this box, under dirt and labels. And this part is the feeling part in you that just wants to be authentic self, to be heard, to be seen, without being named, without being fixed, in order to keep up on survival mode. It doesn't want to go back to old ways that we used to live. I'm not telling you to be stronger. I encourage you to give up on wearing that mask and to be yourself. And this is kind of self-therapy through voice, standing for myself, because I finally give myself a voice to speak up, because I have been silent. I have been silenced since childhood, and I defended myself like lioness, but then I got the labels. I was called as a scapegoat, black sheep, crazy, cursed, ungrateful daughter, weirdo, just because I wanted to be myself. I wished that the voice in me would never be squeezed so tightly, that would get muted and silenced. No. Here I'm creating this space to talk about it, that my voice will, in a sense, become collective voice of your parts, children, these parts that crave to be honored, heard, seen, and embraced. So everything that I share here in this space comes from a deep desire to be truly myself and to break away from this mask of being professional and simply to go back to myself, to be closer to myself and closer to you.